Why don't we go ahead and call the meeting to order? All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Craig. Yeah. For those that made it to the safety lunch today, I heard it was a great event. I'm sorry that I was traveling back and missed it. But it's always a great event, and so proud of the operators and all the great work they do and do it safely for the community. So really thrilled with that. I didn't pick up, were there any hearings from citizens? Nobody today? Okay. One chairman comment. I know last month we had a gentleman come and talk about scooters on the buses. So I've asked that we get kind of a full recommendation back, and we can do that maybe next month, right, to review the situation, both the pros and cons, and we can make a decision as an organization. I know one thing that John Ravazio and I were talking about before the meeting was at least making it clear that the policy right now is that scooters aren't allowed on the bus, so make sure that's consistently communicated to our riders, okay? Other than that, why don't we go ahead into the action items? Oh, sorry. Jay, you're not a formal part of the organization yet, so we need to take care of that. I know you told me it's not on the agenda. 3 minutes later, I forgot, so.
Best of your abilities, so help you God.
I do.
Great.
All right,
Thank
welcome
you.
aboard. And we'll make sure you get a copy of that so you know what you just agreed to. Memories are hard, right? So you will see in your books, hopefully you had a chance to review the minutes from the May 23rd meeting. I would propose we accept those minutes. Properly moved and seconded. Exactly. Which one?
I'll give you a motion.
Give me a motion.
What do you want? All right.
Pete motioned. Tony seconded. Okay. Voice. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say right. Okay. Then we will get right along moving here. So she, like me, I guess was delayed flying, and so she didn't make it back in time for tonight. So Dan is going to handle Finance Committee.
Yeah, well, thanks for turning it over to me. Happy to be here. So I'm going to report out for our meeting on June 20th. We had our Finance Committee meeting. The financial report back is through May of 23. We have had another strong month financially for the 5th consecutive month. Ridership continues to trend up. Fixed route fares have increased from the prior month. Operating surplus was favorable to budget for the 5th consecutive month. On the investment of funds summary, our portfolio remains strong through May. Capital reserve obligations remain covered. The year-end outlook remains strong. So there's a Board of Trustees resolution authorizing the CEO and our CFO to pursue the relevant 2024 grant opportunities, and we approved that. So that was the action item from that meeting. That's my report. Now I propose that we approve that report or approve that item.
Right. Okay.
Oh, no, I'm asking, not telling.
I get it.
Okay.
All right. Properly moved and seconded. Hopefully folks have had a chance to look at this so that we can go get money from the federal government and other entities that want to give us money. Any questions about this? All right.
Mr. Bryce.
Do you approve it? Sorry.
Mr. Etheridge.
Yes.
Mr. Driehaus.
Yes.
Mr. Hinton. Yes. Mr. Cassee.
Yes.
Mr. Metz.
Yes.
Ms. Robinson.
Yes.
Ms. Sheets.
Yes.
And Mr. Smith. Yes. Resolution is approved.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Dan. Anything else to report? It is always fun, man. These, like I said, every meeting, the 5 years ago, the Finance Committee reports were not nearly as much fun. When it said we don't have any money and what we had, we didn't do, so it's wonderful. And so I do think it's important we continue to think through that we have to be good stewards of the surplus and all the positive news and continue to invest it wisely. So as we get into all the things that Blake's going to ask us to spend money on.
Which is also fun. So we had a good meeting, lots of good news. Can't go over it all, and I find when I do, I take it away from Daryl's comments at the end. But one thing I do want to highlight. Try again. Okay. It's all right. One thing I wanted to highlight was that John took us through the extra board updates about the successes that we've had in working with our operators in stabilizing schedules, making the newer operators able to find the best work, stabilizing the extra board, getting more senior operators on the extra board, and I think this is all part of discussions going into the next contract. So that's like deep, long-term strategic good news that goes along with all the immediate good news. So I just wanted to note that for the full board. We have 5 action items, I believe. The first one is a triennial DBE goal for the next 3 years, triennial, and that is 8.5. This is more of a formula that we have to put together and submit to FTA. I think everybody knows we've been doing amazing work, and we seek to exceed all those goals with our DBE work. That is not a procurement item. The next 4 are. The 2023-37 is digital commuter alerts, and that's 3 years, $131,000. This will help us make sure we get out promotional but also service-related messages to riders. 2023-38 is pest control for fleet facilities and offices. That's $280,000 over 5 years. I think that speaks for itself. 2023-78 is the fixed route bus contract. We need to have one. The last one is expiring. This is a 5-year contract with a regional consortium. The number is quite large. So with Gillig, we're saying not to exceed just under $106 million. That's a lot of money. We only have to buy 25. We can buy up to 200 vehicles over the 5 years in this contract. So the minimum is 13 million for this. We do have to regularly update the fleet. There's a concern with, I think, everybody that we are trying to move towards alternative fuel, and this is not that. So something we have to keep our eye on, but it is something we have to have in place. The last is a contract modification for fuel. Most of this, I think, is going to Metro Now. So we're modifying the non-revenue fuel to allow us to fuel the Metro Now buses, but also to get through the rest of the year for non-revenue. Long-term, we are installing a gasoline fueling apparatus structure tank. So we're going to have that. So that will help us to have a better rate on fuel going forward. So those are the action items. I move them and the consent agenda.
Anybody want a second his move that we approve him? Okay. Moved and seconded. Any questions before we vote? Or anybody want to pull anything off?
Did we get the 25 vehicles last year, or we only got a portion? Okay. 25. And so where's the fleet stand today in terms of aging and so forth?
We're in a really good position. Fleet age, John?
Fleet age, just around 7 years now, 6.8 or 6.9, I think, Jeff. So on a 12-year useful life from grant funding, figure 6 right in the middle, we've gotten it down to about 6.8. So thanks to the investment in the fleet, fleet age in a good spot.
Because at one point it was up over 9.
What's that?
It was up over 9 a few
We
years ago.
were, yes, for a few years. Mhm.
We're in the best position we've been in decades.
Does this allow for the purchase of hybrid buses? I know what Gillig makes. So hybrid was our plan, right? Is this next move, and so I'm presuming that's what this plan is around.
Yeah, diesel and hybrid buses under this contract. We do separately have a 5-year contract that's off this cycle. We've got 2 years remaining on that to purchase the electric fixed route buses. So some of those are coming in 2 rounds over the next 3 years. We do have a separate EV contract for fixed route. This is the diesel and hybrid options.
Okay, because I want to make sure we're consistent with the review we did and proposals we made around the zero emissions. Sorry, I'm tired. Okay, so we're not counteracting any other things we've said. Okay.
No.
And we'll start on the infrastructure for
Yes.
charging electric vehicles.
Okay, great.
How long does it take to build one bus?
It is taking up to 2 years. At one point in time, it was about 9 months to build a bus. They're up around 2 years right now.
Right, so that's why you put the 5-year on it to give it time.
And so the buses we'll get this year we approved 2 years ago or whatever.
2
it is.
years ago. But
But it is that cycle of wanting it. One of the things we did as a board, just, I think John talked about it for those that weren't around, we didn't have any money, so we weren't buying buses. And so we had 15, 16-year-old buses on the street that were just not a pleasant experience for the riders, right? So we've made the commitment to get and have a regular cycle. We're going to, when they get to 12 years, we're replacing them. And luckily, we're not in a situation where we're tempted financially to try to get an extra year or 2 out of them, which almost invariably causes more problems anyways because the maintenance on them gets very high later on. So, because since we're voting on these all together, I have a couple questions, but I don't want to. The non-revenue, right? So I think this is saying it's a 6-month extension, basically. So in 6 months, we're almost going to double the spend that we've done for 4.5 years because of Metro Now. Is that a real statement?
Yes,
Combinate,
real statement.
Is it a factual statement? Maybe yeah.
combination of that and fuel cost.
Okay.
Because this contract is several years old.
Right. So I just want to make sure, because it was sort of implied that it's just because of non-revenue. I don't think that's the only reason. Here, right.
That is correct.
I had the same exact response when I looked at it. I was like, 6-month extension on a multi-year contract, and it's the same amount as the base.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Was discussed in our.
Great minds. I'm sorry, I was impressed.
No, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's a good question.
Okay.
It's
good.
also a not to exceed. And so you see that there was a $4 a gallon rate in there,
Yep.
which we discussed. That is not the actual rate we pay, but it was part of the calculation for the not to exceed.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Just feel like I have to ask. And then this commuter alert technology, is this what gives me the notes that say, hey, the bus is going to be late? Okay.
SMS.
Yeah.
We're doing an audit on that, and most of that is QA to our internal process.
Okay. That's just a question. It doesn't address, it's same underlying challenges we have, but just a little, okay, great. Okay. Sorry, I missed the committee meetings.
No.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Mr. Smith?
We have one. Did you have Pastor Joe? Yeah.
What happens to the old buses?
Generally, we sell them, right?
They go out to auction, and they're sold at auction. We normally get about $2,500 per bus at auction. Yes.
Have you seen the bingos? But
Oftentimes, they end up outside of the country.
I mean, they go and buy them and fix them up.
The useful life of a bus is about 12 years. So they depreciate over 12 years. And what we attempt to do is replace 25 buses every year so that our buses stay current and we stay as close to that 6-year, 6, 7.
Thank you for saving this second.
Ms. Sheets? Ms. Robinson?
Yes.
Mr. Bryce? Mr. Etheridge?
Yes.
Mr. Driehaus?
Yes.
Mr. Metz? Mr. Cassee?
Yes.
Mr. Hinton?
Yes.
Passed.
All right. There you go. Anything else? No? I got to get back on the agenda here. Okay, so Everybody Rides Metro, right, which you know is our foundation where we give discounted or right now free bus passes for those that need extra help getting to jobs, healthcare, education, those kind of things. We have 3 of the current board members are up for renewal, so we're proposing that these 3 get reappointed. Jeez, I am. Wake up, Craig. Wake up. It's not the time; it's the fact that no sleep for 2 days traveling.
Reappointed to what?
To the Everybody Rides Metro board. Oh, right. And again, this board really is. It's the board that runs that operation, but it's all it's solely funded by us, solely appointed by us. So the rules really come from us. But the team is very engaged in making sure that the public is able to take advantage of these opportunities. And what's been great is, when we first restarted Everybody Rides Metro a year and a half ago, we were getting maybe $1,000 or $2,000 a month of tickets being up to. Now it's about 50, so getting pretty close to the run rate that we had established. So we're very excited about it and what it's doing for the community. But these 3, Katie, Eric, and Kelly have been good members of the board, and Aaron would normally come and make this request, right? But he's not able to make it tonight, so I would ask that we confirm the reappointment that that board has requested.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. And happy to talk about it if people have questions. We would actually like Aaron to continue every quarter or so to come back and tell us how things are going, so we'll make sure that happens as well.
Is he the chair?
He's the chair, sorry. Yeah. Chanel.
That's a voice vote.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say right. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to abstain from that vote.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
Pete's abstaining. I should have. All right. Larry. We know it's good news because Dan already told us it was.
Yes, it is. And thank you, Dan, for setting the tone. I'm going to draw attention to the statement of operations. The first page, which we'll talk through very briefly here, is page 4. And as you can see here, looking at fair revenue for the month of May is actually up, favorable relative to the prior month. In large part, a function of the average revenue per day increase during the month of May. 2 contributors to that situation. One would be the increased sale of day passes, and we also noticed that the outlet passes increased during the month of May. Those 2 factors combined for about $150,000 of revenue in the month of May over the month of April. The second key takeaway from this bar chart, you'll see in the red here, or orange, we've got CPS revenue is actually below the line. And you say, well, how can that possibly be? Part of the contract provision that is currently between Metro and CPS is we have to actually refund for unused passes at the end of the school year. And so what this represents is the true-up that was done in the month of May for unutilized passes that is due back to CPS. That figure is a little under $800,000, and that's what drew us into the red for the month of May. And this is actually the first of 2 true-ups. There'll be another true-up to give the board a heads up going into the June close. That's a function of unused extracurricular passes. And so I'll be finalizing that figure with CPS shortly, and that'll impact the results that I'll be bringing forth in the month of June. Turning to the next page, looking at our 3-month trend on expenses. Key to make note here, wages and benefits are actually up over the previous month to a tune of about $475,000. The largest contributor we've been able to identify there is traced back to a very large training class during the month of May, and so that's a component of that 475. And then turning our attention to page 6, our summary comments here. Total revenue for the month was at $16.8 million, which is on budget. Total expense at $12.5 million, which is favorable to budget, $192,000. That yielded a surplus, which is $4.4 million, which is favorable to budget, $188,000. And as Dan indicated earlier, this is the 5th consecutive month where we've had a favorable budget surplus. Ridership, as earlier alluded to as well, came in at 1.2 million, which is favorable $79,000 rides. And then transitioning to a couple key comments on revenue. Total fares for the month at 1.2 million, which is favorable $287,000. We talked about root cause there being, again, day passes and outlet sales. CPS revenue is, again, as I shared earlier, $376,000, unfavorable to budget, $742,000. Again, a function of the unused smart card passes. County sales tax is the other comment I'll make on revenue. Came in unfavorable at $95,000. The good news there is we have tracked against our March receipts. I'll be reporting next month that we're actually back into the black, and so the 2-month slide that we've seen in sales tax receipts has stopped. And so we're optimistic that that will be a function of us, formally turning the corner in the month of March.
Just a question, does that mean, the sales tax, does that mean we're losing revenue due to lack of people spending? I'm trying to determine what was happening in those months.
And so the way the cash flow plays out, we get what's referred to as actual cash receipts 3 months after the receipts are actually collected. And so what I'm doing here is reporting against the budget that was previously placed into service, okay, against actual cash receipts. And so relative to the January budget that was brought forth, we were 375. Relative to the February budget, actual receipts, we were 95 in the red. And so the March actual receipts, we're now bringing forth at approximately $100,000 in the positive.
But to Gwen's question, yes, it means that less money was spent in the county.
Right,
Less things were bought, right?
Right,
So.
and
Yes.
yet, when they were talking about I guess when they were talking about our sales during I'm looking at January, it would be reported in December for the county. I'm looking at Christmas spending and all that.
It takes 3 months to get the.
3 months to get to, oh, okay.
I'd also like to say that our budget number comes from the University of Cincinnati that calculates what the estimate
Yes.
for sales tax will be, not only for us, but for the city and the county as well. So that estimated sales tax dollar comes from the University of Cincinnati.
Yeah. But they were bragging about how favorable our spending were during those months.
Yeah, so this would have been spending in March or something. Right?
That's correct, right. I mean, hopefully it's an indicator of the economic climate and the fact that we've started to turn the corner and there is more spending.
Yeah.
And that'll play favorably in the agency's cash flow for the remainder of the year.
And we know that there's been no doubt that over the couple of years of this, it's been way above any projection. So, even these levels were lower or higher than we thought it would be
Yes.
2 years ago, if that makes.
And our budgeted sales tax revenue is higher than the actual sales tax revenue last year. So we expected an increase over last year.
Okay. Because, that's our economic climate. So
Yeah, this has generally been really good news.
Yeah.
Partly because of inflation and things just cost more.
Yeah.
But in general, really positive, yeah.
Turning the attention to expense, a couple key comments here. Wages and benefits came in at $9.1 million, which is favorable to budget $318,000. You can see there, root cause we've traced back to timing associated with vacation and sick leave expense that hit the agency. Fuel and lubricants came in at $700,000, which is unfavorable to budget $46,000. We are seeing some price effects relative to the purchase of our fuel and how that's playing out. And then finally, on the expense side, the all other bucket came in at $1.8 million, which is pretty much on budget.
Can I ask you a question? I know it's a small number, 104 out of 1.2 million rides.
Yes.
But the Metro now, remind me the date we started? May 23rd. So this was 8 days or something like that. So
2 weeks.
we're kind of where we expected to be. I know we talked about this last month.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. We'll get an update before we roll out the next.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And now that we know it's working really, really well, we're doing a full court marketing press. So we'll see those numbers
Okay.
really grow.
I won't try to steal your thunder. I tried to, but I won't.
Something to talk about today.
There you go.
Okay, that concludes my comments on the profit and loss statement. If there's no other questions.
since we got to the detail page now, so we know that the APC work was going to increase our ridership by about 12%. So if I look at this 10% over, does that mean we're less than we expected to be? I'm trying to, that's all attributed to the APC work? Okay. So we're not actually, are we growing or not growing? We are growing. Okay.
We use an acronym, and we have a new member.
Oh, sorry.
Automatic passenger counter.
Right.
Automated passenger
Our new gadget.
It's a beam on the bus on the front door and the back door, and it counts people as you cross that beam versus the fare box being 12-year-old technology on the bus.
But we are up year over year. We're up
Absolutely.
still 50% ridership. Is that what this
Oh,
is?
yes.
That's good, right?
Significantly. Regardless, fare box to fare box, APC to APC, we're up significantly.
Yeah. That's when you're supposed to cheer everybody. That's all right. Thank you. Any other questions? There you go. More questions than there's bad news, Larry. Good job.
That was great.
Thanks.
Got it.
Uh-oh.
June is Safety Month, and we have been celebrating our operators and our mechanics on our safe service that we put on the street every single solitary day. We're really, really proud of our service and how safe our service is. We have 2 more operators. We had 2 last year. We have 2 more this year that have been inducted in the the national 2 million mile club, meaning they have driven 2 million miles without a preventable accident. So these are 2 operators that have driven more than 30 years without a preventable accident. We honored them today at our safety luncheon. It's Mark Stola and Monica Hawkins. We also celebrated with all of our employees at all 3 of our garages all month, luncheons, celebrating the operators for their safe, and our mechanics for their safe operations of our system. Someone asked me last week, we haven't gotten a grant in a while. When are we going to hear about another grant? I am happy to say that we were awarded $9.8 million from the FTA for 16 hybrid buses. And as we move forward on BRT from Washington, D.C. and from Region 5 in Chicago, we had representatives here yesterday to view the 2 corridors, the Reading Road corridor and the Hamilton corridor, as we move our BRT moving forward. They were really impressed with the 2 corridors, so we're excited about where we are and moving those 2 corridors forward with BRT.
And I know at the board orientation session on the 21st, do I have that right, that in the morning, people have the chance to look at those routes as well, right?
Absolutely. And we'd love for all the new board members to go out and see our garages, to go see a couple of our transit centers, and also visit those 2 corridors. And we can talk about some of the things that we've done, as well as some of the things that are coming up. We were on the Hill with Chamber a few weeks ago in D.C., visiting senators and congressmen and seeing what's happening in D.C., where the funding is coming from, what opportunities we have. We were there with Pete in the Chamber. Really, really, really productive trip to D.C. Both Andy and Brandy were on that trip.
Craig has said this before. It was fun to witness firsthand how much our members of Congress do celebrate this organization when we're out there. Sherrod was happy to see Andy and Brandy, but specifically said, "Where's Daryl?"
Not in a disappointed way, but
no, it was great. It was great, but he, was expecting to see SORTA as a presence with the regional community that we go out there, and so it was great and appreciated having us there.
Thank you. And the last thing I will mention, we were one of the first organizations to recognize Juneteenth as a paid holiday, as we did again this year. And that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
I think your bus died at the Pride
Yes.
Parade. It was right in front of me.
I was in Peru getting pictures sent to me from people. Yeah. But anyway, the point was we celebrate and we're excited about it.
Absolutely.
One question. I know we used to, every once in a while, Mike, review the safety metrics as an organization? Because I know it puts us in the very top quartile or percentiles of what. So I think it's worth making sure we get that in front of everybody as we talk safety month. But just in general, that's a very important thing to us, and the organization does such a great job. We should celebrate it and continue to remind folks, because you should pat yourself on the back, right? Thank you very much.
Is it possible for our planning committee to at least have a bus ride on the two corridors?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right. So I think we're offering it on the 21st, and if you can't make it, then we'll do a second one, right?
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
All right.
Yeah,
I want to see what. Okay.
I'll happily do it anytime, every weekend. Anybody wants to do it. It's exciting
Wait,
stuff.
weekend? Gwen's got plans on weekends. And there is Wi-Fi on the buses.
My
so
kids will
can
sell
get
you
work
lemonade
done
on
while
one of the
you're driving.
corridors, Gwen. My kids will sell you lemonade on the 17
There you go.
corridor. Yeah.
Nice.
Come on by.
That'd be a great idea.
Okay.
We also got a chance to stop at Northside with them to show them their investment in the transit center at Northside. They were really, really pleased when they saw Northside. It's a beautiful transit center. Yes, and they were excited. As we were coming back, we noticed one of the ladies from D.C. She had pages and pages and pages of notes from the trip on the corridors. They were really excited to see our two corridors that we chose.
Yeah.
It's transforming that whole corridor.
Oh yeah. It's I know we joke around sometimes, but we're doing a lot of great things in the community, and I think we're getting great positive responses. And so let's keep doing that, and making sure we're engaging with everyone. And another way that's happening, I guess you didn't. I don't think you mentioned it. We talked about a month or two ago the Oasis Trail and getting the valuations done, so we can keep that process moving. So I know we're continuing to try to push it. The railroad has the contract, and they're very hard. They always get real close to signing, and then it seems to take a while, but we're going to get those valuations and working with the city about the ownership of that property and the long-term maintenance of the bridges that we don't want to have to undertake, but we are happy to continue, as the board has said before, to support the bike path. So good news, hopefully coming there soon as well.
And as they do the evaluation of all the rail right-of-way, we have them starting on the Oasis line so we can move this forward.
Yep. All right. That was fast. Any new business? Any questions? Hey, Robert. No? All right. Did everybody get a chance to eat? Because there's still food left, I imagine. Otherwise,
Thank you.
meeting adjourned. Thanks, y'all. Yeah.